Hi, everyone. Welcome back again. This is the Iconist Podcast with your two crazy hosts. I am Barry 3D for Deep Dark Delicious. Hey, and on my side is
DJ Rod C. I'm here, people. We want to have fun. What's up? Welcome to the Iconist Podcast. Yes, people.
Thank you.
The crazy people are here.
That's right. Crazy people with passion. So first of all, we're going to get it out and then open it. So first, big shout out to so many people to shout out. Sometimes I get it jumbled in my head, right? It's like first of all, my comedy brothers, Touch of Grey. So if you want to look up and see what's happening, Touch of Grey, you want to have some good shows to watch. So we do a lot of live comedy shows, and then we're also on YouTube. So you can look up Touch of Grey Comedy. And that's myself, Barry 3D, along with Thomas Patrice, Zulf Ali, and the man who puts it all together, Dave Sokolowski. Look it up, find it. You'll find it on the featured channels below on our YouTube, and you can go over there. There's over like 80 videos talking about all range of subjects from serious to funny. We're like The View, but we're Canadian. I like to say that we are the Canadian version of blue collar comedy, the Plastic Cup Boys from Kevin Smith, Kevin Hart. That's us. We're the Canadian version of that. So, see us live on stage, see us there. We're starting our season 2 coming up very shortly. So Touch of Grey Comedy, look it up. Follow the links. That's first and foremost. Want to do another big shout out to Jimmy English on his podcast of Back to the Balcony. He's doing his second season right now, so you can find all that links on my website, to his, and look for the microphone, the black microphone on the red background. That's his logo. Talking about all movies, always has interesting guests on there that bring on a selection of movies. They give you like tidbits, history, some hidden gems, and then, some funny, wacky opinions on both sides of the fence with it. So definitely check him out. Also, my buddy Paul Ash has Battlecom. He has They Talk Funny and some other stuff. Look him up, Paul Ash. They do Battlecom, which is a live game show, nerd enthusiast game show, and it's live. So it's live on Facebook, live on YouTube. They do it once every 2 weeks. Audience participation highly valued. So nice. You get to chat, you get to put in your votes. Obviously, very interactive. Got the hiccups. So those are things definitely to look forward. And then, of course, the man who makes us look so pretty, our homeboy Jay Bird. Jay Bird Digital Arts. Look for his deets at the end of the video. See the links below for those listening on our podcast. And he's the one that's given us the templates, our logos, everything. And we have merchandise. If you want to get yourself an Iconist t-shirt, for those who can see it, you can see it. I'm wearing my Iconist Podcast t-shirt with a logo and everything on it. That's through Redbubble. You're right. And the beauty of that is you just go to barry3d.com. You go to the Iconist page. You click merchandise. You'll see, it'll take you right there to that page. You'll find this. You'll find my own personal B3D logo on t-shirts, water bottles, books, anything. We got a lot of, merchandise spread out all over the place. So you can find that. And thank you for, supporting live comedy, and thank you for supporting this show. And we have our podcast page. We have our official podcast page, which is you can find on the website also through my blog, and all that is there. And if you want to go directly, we're on different platforms too. So we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, and there's a couple more we're on, and soon to be on iTunes. And you can go to the site directly, which is Iconist, the name of the show. So ICONIS podbean.com. Boom. All episodes are there. Very simple. The video gets released on YouTube on a Wednesday. The video gets released on YouTube on a Tuesday. The audio gets released on the Wednesday, the day after. And we put those all up, and you can see the backlog of all the other episodes we've done. Everything is there. So please subscribe, share. Barry can't speak. Download the episodes, let your friends know, share it. Let us share the love. We love what we're doing, and then follow us on our social medias. And we always look back to read and see all comments that everyone has to say about the show and the episodes and your thoughts. We really want this to be as engaging as possible. That's it for myself. Mr. Rod C, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitch. What's it called? You can find me on Instagram. find me on Instagram at Mr. Rod C, because he segued off with Mr. Rod C, so let's go with that. So you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Rod C. Follow me there, follow my events, anything that I'm doing. I also am available on Twitch. You can find me on twitch.tv/DJ Rod C. Find me there. Listen, I'm there every Wednesday playing tunes, and I do randomly pop-ups. Mondays and Wednesdays is when I play, and I'm all over the place. Like I play everything from hip hop, R&B, soca, reggae, house, Afro beats. Whatever the vibe is, I just let it out and everybody have fun. So it's a great environment. Make sure you come by. And if you come by, let me know where I saw you. If you saw this and you got the direction from here, let me know. Let me know you came from Iconis. I'll hail you up. All right? Listen. Today.
Hey, before you even start, let me put this out there. If you come over from Iconis and you go over and you see Rod DJing, tell him that Barry 3D wants Saturday Love.
Wow,
he knows the song.
I just paused. Oh, wow.
Saturday Love by Alexander O'Neill and Sherelle. You tell him if you come over from Iconis, Saturday Love. If he gets like 5 people saying that means 5 people saw this show, went on to his show, and told him about Saturday Love. And he's going to turn around and call me during his set and want to kill me. And I don't care because Saturday Love should be played all the time.
No, I got no problem playing Saturday Love. I got no problem. That's
we
already know
over and over and over.
I know we've done that. If you still have that tape somewhere, that's you. Because as a side note, that's what he had me do, and he has it. Not me. He had a tape with it back to back. Ask me how I know. Driving a couple hours, he's playing it. I'm like, all right,
song ever. Speaking of music, Rod, lead it off, Rod.
What? What am I reading off? What am I reading?
What we doing?
Oh, today, listen then, everyone. Welcome to another episode. So what we're going to be talking about is, as you can see, we're surrounded by autonomous beings, robots, as we know as the world of Transformers. First generation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to have some fun. As you can tell by the iconic spot we're bringing you Generation 1. We're going to be talking about Transformers Generation 1. And we just kind of had a conversation about it. Like, you know what? We need to just talk and just have a little fire chat. So we're just going to, similar to what we normally do, but we're just going to just go in and have some fun and hope that you feel some good vibes when you hear about what we like, what we thought was like, really? Did they really do that? Trust me, I got a couple of beefs with them on that, but it's a good beef. It's like, man, you know you shouldn't have done that. Starscream, you know you shouldn't have done that. You know?
Yes.
Man, why you like poking the bear? Why do you like poking the Megatron bear? I don't understand, son. Why? You don't like your life? You don't love your life? Man, why are you doing?
Okay, let's get right to it. So first of all, we're doing this episode. Everyone's knowing about Transformers. Yes, we got it. We know it. You've watched it. You've had it. Maybe you had the toys. Lucky you, right? And they didn't get the GoBot version, even though GoBots came first. We're gonna break it down. It's true. GoBots came out first.
I know.
Right? So here we comes out. So with Transformers Generation 1, we're talking about it because on YouTube they just put out all the episodes of Generation 1 on YouTube for free. So I know a little while back they did G.I. Joe and all of that, and now they just came out with Transformers. So we're just doing that as a compilation and as that. So breaking down, there was Transformers. The G1 series came out, of course, back in the 80s, and it was. These were first robots. They weren't even all the same thing. They came over from Japan. They were all from different lines. One company turned around, bought them, put them all together as one line, gave them a backstory. Worked with Marvel to make a 4-issue miniseries that turned into an ongoing series because the popularity was so great.
Right.
Then they turned around, dropped it on TV, and TV had a 3 episode miniseries to promote the comic and the toys, wink, wink, at the same time, because they're not supposed to be doing that. And here we are. So now, all these years later, Transformers. And we're not looking so much at the history of the Transformers. We're not looking so much at the what led up to it. There's a lot of videos out there and audio and podcasts that already describe that. We're talking about what they could have done. And that is, we're doing a kind of a what if.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, exactly. It is our version of what if, and what if slash why? Why
Why?
you do that?
Why?
Not what if, and also why'd you do that?
You're too big for your britches. They were too big for their britches. Some people were too big for their britches. Okay, so look.
Let's not even talk about big. Let's not even talk about big and britches. We'll get into that part.
Okay, all right.
If I remember that point, I got a point. I got to try to remember on that.
All right, I'm gonna try to remember you. All right, so we start off episode 1, right? Episode 1, opening sequence. Who do we see? We see Bumblebee. We see Wheeljack. You know, and they got to get back to Iacon. No relation to Iconis, but I like to say so. And they're stealing some rods, trying to get some energy, and then they get chased down by the jets, right? So you see them, and what was cool, you see them transform into their Cybertron version vehicles and not their Earth version vehicles,
correct?
Right? So, you know, Bumblebee looked like almost like a little bit of a spaceship. Wheeljack looked more of a kind of a tankish minivan-ish, whatever.
Yes.
And then you see the jets, right? You see the Seekers, as they call them, and they transform it into these kind of triangle fighter jets. It looked really cool. I thought that was awesome. You know, all right, boom, starts off. Okay, they get back to their base. They figure out what they got to do. It's like, okay, we got all this energon. It's like Optimus turning around. Well, we got to leave the planet, you know, kind of thing. Soundwave is there.
Right. So, listen, yeah. It's so so basically, it's really like Bumblebee and Wheeljack were looking for any last amount of energon that they can scramble. And that's really what it is. There was like a scavenger. There was a scavenging trying to find anything.
Yes.
So making it back to Iacon, basically, as they were on their way back, they came across a blockade. This blockade, of course, is with the searchers, and they're realizing we're going to have to fight our way through. And what kills me is the line from Bumblebee when they got pinned down. So they got pinned down. Wheeljack is in his van mode.
Yes.
Bumblebee had turned into his humanoid mode and put the basically the energon
rods,
like the rods, the energetic conductors. Let's do it properly. The energetic conductors into the back of the truck, whatever.
Yeah.
So when it came to the blockade, open a back door. They got pinned down. Bumblebee comes out and just like you guys saying, Prime told me to be days like this, but I didn't believe him. I'm like, listen, you are in a war affair type of environment. You are scavenging for energon conductors. You are trying to just get by the day. You didn't think, and you knew who the enemy was with the Decepticons, and you knew when you saw the blockade, this ain't going to be good. Prime told me to be days like that. Prime told you about days like that. You didn't believe him? And that would kill me. Wheeljack came back, and you didn't believe him? That's the part that killed me. Wheeljack had to give him a verbal 5 across the eyes.
5 across the eyes?
What are you talking about? You didn't believe it. Listen, that's one of my, like, boy, really?
Know?
Excuse me, come on, man. Come on, son. Exactly. I was trying to get to that. Come on, son. Come on, son. I'm like, oh,
you're at war. So, but the whole thing is, what was Bumblebee doing before? You know, because that means Prime has been telling him stories, but you're on a war-torn planet. For millions of years, there's been a fight going on. And how did you not get part of this fight?
Like, you see, I'm trying to be as very focused and very tunneled that I'm not going to try to reference from other type of, like, because if you go to what's now on Netflix, they got the Cybertron Wars. Oh yeah, and you realize that the history of Bumblebee a little bit better. Right. And I'm trying not to say that, because at that point, go check that out and you'll see the difference of what we're talking about. I'm not trying to say that. Yeah, but in what we know in Generation 1, you're talking about, like, guy, are you telling me on Cybertron for many millions of years, they've been at war. So you're telling me, even if you didn't pick a side, this one you picked a side, but you didn't pick a side. You didn't see no bombardiers, no flying over, no gunfight in your neighborhood. You tell me you didn't know on a whole planet that we're at war? Come on, son.
That's right. That's like going with the future of Terminator, right? And people are running around hiding from the Terminators, and then someone turns around, runs into a Terminator, shoots, makes an escape, and is like, man, you know what? John Connor told me there'd be days like this. And then someone else like, you didn't believe him? You didn't see the scar up on Homeboy's face? Okay, so that I hear you. The whole you didn't believe him? I was like, come on. Okay, that's what I'm like. Right. If I was a Transformer, I would need to go up and ding him off the back of the head. If you go on my Instagram page, I have a picture of a cool car, and I made my Transformer name as Rush, because I got no patience. They just
got no time. Boom.
You know, Autobot Rush. That if I was an Autobot, it's blue, it's a cool car, and it'll be called Rush. Going back in retrospect, that should be a classic Trans Am. Different story. Okay, so now we get to Iacon.
No, we get the Iacon. So basically, like we were talking about Soundwave. Soundwave is now being he's just basically being what you call it. He's just monitoring.
Communication tower.
Communication tower. But that was a great thing about it, because if you look on the other side, there was another communication tower, and it
Just
made me
like
always. I'm always wondering, was that a second Decepticon there, or just because he has the ability to kind of shape himself into whatever he was trying to be?
Yes.
Was he just mimicking? So that's one aspect that they never really went into, whatever the case would be. But it was great. Soundwave was there and basically updating Megatron, like saying the Autobots, they've reached Iacon, and it looks like they're planning to leave. Because by this point, Bumblebee with his big mouth, not knowing who's around, chatting too much stuff, saying, "Yeah, we got these energy conductors. Hope this is enough for us to take off," or something along that line. I'm like,
yes,
boy, your mouth's too big. Come on, son. Come on. You don't listen. You got to be attentive. Who's paying attention around you? Soundwave. And
even baseball players use code. They use hand signals, right? Baseball players use hand signals. You out there giving away the whole plan. You're at war. Obviously, you didn't believe Prime, and then you got on the shootout, survived it, and then got there, and then don't you notice it's always the small Transformers that always seem to run their mouth a little bit too much?
Listen, we know we got another one that we're going to talk about, so we won't even bring. We'll get when we get to him. We'll get to him. Continue.
Yes. yeah, exactly. So they turn around and they do that, and they kind of get going. They take off planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right away, what's his name?
Soundwave.
Soundwave gets back to Megatron, tells Megatron everything that's going on. Okay, cool. Boom, done. Right? Like, okay, we're planning to go too. They jump on Nemesis.
Yep.
Take off. Okay. Then they fly through a meteor shower.
Yeah. Technically they didn't purposely go through it while they were leaving out of nowhere. I mean, like, you ain't got proper sensors? Come on, son. Star Trek, and your years after Star Trek had proper, navigation and can tell from light years when impeding rocks were coming towards them. Your sensors, the Ark couldn't tell you that. Teletron couldn't tell you that. For all you know, two big blocks came together and smashed in front of them. Instant, asteroid field that they're just now falling themselves into. Like, you couldn't have seen that coming from how long? What's wrong with your sensors, son? What's wrong with your sensors?
Okay, Teletran, as much as these robots were super smart, Teletran 1 was not all the smartest. So fine. So they go there, then they start shooting, going through the asteroid. Megatron did the smartest thing. Follow them. They're clearing the path. Follow
them. Follow them. Smart move. I want to reckon out my nemesis. Why I'm wrecking out my nemesis? Nemesis, man. I got good paint job on this, man. What are you talking about? I got a good paint job on Nemesis.
Yep. So turn around and started, going through. All right, fine. Case closed. Following him, right? Gets out there, saves his paint job on Nemesis. Then he turns around and says, you know what? We're boarding him. All right. So they board him. Okay, fine. Fight breaks out. You see Nemesis spear off in one direction. You see the Ark go down and crash land and gets in the volcano. Boom. Fight done. Right? Bodies all over the place. 100 years, millions of years later, volcano erupts, causes them to kind of wake up.
Right. Well, let's pause on that second. I want us to be able to be a little bit more detailed, just because in the sense that, because if people are listening to this and, they may have known about the Generation 1, but, when they crash land. So basically, if you can imagine it, yes, the Decepticons, they infiltrated, broke into the Autobot ship, which is the Ark we made reference to before, and they're fighting inside, whatever the case to be, battling that out, and all that turmoil. Again, if you can imagine, there is like I would call it the tube or the junction that connected from one ship to the other.
Yes.
Was still connected. So because of that, trying to fly at the same time, you can now realizing, if this is the main one that everybody's fighting and I happen to turn away, you're pulling on this, it now rips a hole. It just caused damage that they lost control in the Autobot ship. So basically, when they crash land at the bottom of that mountain, we didn't know it. We'll find out later what it is, but they were crash land on Earth. This was back during, dinosaur. This is dinosaur era. This is dinosaur era. So there's no humans and nothing like that. at least no humans. They didn't say anything about, but they said it's millions of years. So they crash land, and when they crash land, they were just like the impact was so much. Pop, 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 pop. Man lost a foot. Man lost a finger. Man lost a shoulder.
Yeah.
Body parts all over the place.
It was like
Poor
Jenga.
Autobots. Literally. Jenga, 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 Jenga. I can't remember the verbiage of how you say it, but you gotta understand.
Jenga,
Parts
Jenga,
all over the place.
Jenga.
Jenga. Right,
Yes.
that's it. I remember
Right.
there's a stutter on there. And that was it. So, as Barry was about to say, they're now in stasis, not stasis, but they're just dead up. And it's millions of years later. As
Yes.
they say, 4 million years past.
4 million years past. Now here goes. So first of all the Transformers, now they're on two ships, right? Decepticons on one, Autobots on another one. Decepticons go onto the Autobot ship. Who's flying Nemesis? They left it on autopilot, cruise control.
This is what I'm saying.
You didn't leave
Because
a
of
crew to fly?
Listen,
Megatron.
This is where my head kind of like, bruh. But you know what? Again, if you read the episode, Megatron says, let's board them. Now, Megatron should have been smart, as Barry is saying, should have said, listen, you stay behind. And you know what? I'll pause on that exact moment. That would protect words why he should have said that, because he did. When they left Cybertron, all of his crew was about to board, and then Megatron told one, I need you, Shockwave.
Shockwave, that's right.
I need you, Shockwave, to stay and man the city. Basically, keep Decepticon lore and keep the fight going on Cybertron. So, Megatron left one of his number one lieutenants to take control. So, at this point, Megatron, you're telling me you couldn't tell someone, listen, hold the ship. Hold the ship. We're going in. Yeah. Unless he, like you say, he's not autopilot, but because of confusion on the other side, it bend up the anyway.
Right. So they crash land on Earth. They get there. 4 million years go by.
Mm-hmm.
You find out it's in a volcano. Volcano was dormant. All of a sudden comes active, explodes. Oh. Right. Now it shows you the inside of the arc, and you see all the bodies strewn apart, like a broken piece of puzzle, like Jenga tower fall down. Everyone all over.
Look like Peter Griffin with his shoulder back here and his leg that way.
Exactly. And it see it shake, and it causes one of the robots to fall backwards. And it was a Decepticon, right? Exactly again. So one of the robots falls backwards, and Teletran 1 wakes up, and it's like repair, explore, and sends out like little drones, says, okay, who's around? What's your body frame like? Boop, and fixed a Decepticon.
Right.
First one it fixed was I think it was Thundercracker.
It was Thundercracker.
Thundercracker or Skywarp. I always get the two confused, but it fixed one of the Seekers, right? Fixed him. And he wakes up, it's like, oh, all right, I'm back. The first thing he does, and that's a smart move, is wake up your leader. Mm-hmm. He goes, and the beam's still going, he pulls Megatron into the beam, right? Megatron gets fixed, gets a new body to blend in. Okay, so that's 2. Megatron's first command, get the rest of the Decepticons. Okay, and starts pulling all the Decepticons in one by one in front of the repair beam because it's not moving back and forth. So they move, and the repair beam fixes all the Decepticons that are aboard the Ark. Now, Teletran 1, you were built by the Autobots to serve on an Autobot ship, and you couldn't tell the difference of who created you to who the enemy was. No one put in no safety feature. Clearly, you all got symbols. The Autobot symbol looks one way. The Decepticon symbol looks another way. They said Teletran was damaged. I'm like, so you're just going to fix everybody? Okay, all right, then. You couldn't Bluetooth something? They didn't put no security feature in there? No 2-word authentication password?
Oh, snap. Exactly. You know what? Let me just go back real quick. It was Skywarp. It was Skywarp. It wasn't Thundercracker. It was Skywarp.
Okay, so it was Skywarp. Right, Skywarp's Skywarp color.
Yeah, just at least everybody's like, hey, I saw this. We're just making sure we're correcting on the fly.
Thank you.
Correcting on the fly. Don't be mad at us, people. We're trying to make it as authentic as possible.
Right. So now,
yes.
Here's where they could have they could have won the war. Right.
Real talk.
All the Decepticons are back. You're on a spaceship. No one has bothered this spaceship for years, which means it's unfound. Your enemies are all there deactivated. You all couldn't just get the bodies of the deactivated Autobots and throw them in the recycle bin? Melt them down?
No, let's listen. You know what? Let's not even go. Let's say that is one aspect, but the machine, the whole ship is not dormant. It has enough power to whatever the case to be. Yes, either you find where you're going to recycle them, or you just take it and you just go pew 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 pew. Or whatever. Just make sure parts. I don't know. You would have confirm your kill. Confirm your kill.
Confirm the kill.
That's all you need to do.
Confirm the kill. That was it. No. If you anything, I think they were like dormant, dead when it came back. Okay, just get rid of them. That boom, series done. Okay. So here's this whole scene is where I was like, come on, you could have Megatron. This was all yours to have. And when they put two teams against another, and everyone looks at one team and says, yeah, this team, there's no way they can lose, and then they end up losing, and then when the announcer's like, it was yours to lose. You had it, but then you did this move, and now you've lost it. Oh, so they all get repaired. The Decepticons, that is.
Right.
They fly up out of the Ark to see where they are. They look around and says, "Oh, this is a new world." You think Cybertron still exists? It must. Okay, and then Starscream turns around and starts blasting the boulders.
Let's go by the proper terminology. An impudent Starscream.
Yes. Megatron looks at him and says, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm making sure our enemies are buried and no one will find them." That's warning number one. Megatron says, "Stop doing it. You're wasting energy. Forget them. Let's just go." Right? And leaves. Starscream stays there and gives a couple more blasts from his arm cannons, whatever. And the boulders fall down, hit the Ark, causes it to shake. And then on the inside, you see Optimus Prime is hunched over a control panel, and his body falls backwards because of the vibration right into the beam of Teletran 1 and gets repaired and fixed.
Repair.
Explore.
No, we explore. And then when he found out, then he says, repair.
Yeah. And that's where Optimus got his truck body transformation. And then, of course, they fixed all their other Autobots. Okay, here it is. So you're on a strange planet with your enemies that are dormant. You're revived in their spaceship. Their ship obviously doesn't know the difference between Decepticon and Autobot. It fixed you. Megatron should have just cleared out the rest of the Autobots. You have Cybertron technology. You could have used that technology to scour the planet. So this way you're not wasting your own energy to, either fix the Ark, build a new ship, and you would have been done. It would have been done unimpeded by the Autobots on Earth. So Starscream not listening. First of all, Megatron failed to get rid of the enemy. Starscream not listening caused the enemy to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back and say, wow, man, Starscream had it rough in the Transformers history. He always seemed to got the short end of the stick. It was his fault.
Right. If you really want to go back and just say, is at this point in time, when everything just went, you could have just changed everything from there. But you know what? Again, you're trying not to think of what they possibly can do, because for the series, hey, like you said, it's the first of a little mini series that they're trying to promote. You can easily cut off. You could have done off the whole show within the first 15 minutes. As sad as it is, we don't want that. So we have to play a blind eye to the obvious thing that you should have done. And I will even say that there is another version. Again, not trying to get source material on the current stuff, but it's the current one that has the Beast. Oh my goodness. I just went blank.
Beast Machines, Beast Wars?
Beast Machine, yeah, Beast Wars. So the Beast Wars, where they're actually interacting with original Gen 1.
Yes.
Right? And basically at that point, Rhinox was able to use the Ark, Teletran 1, to work it to do whatever they needed to do. So I'm like, again, you're like, the obvious is what you should have done. You couldn't do it because it was like episode 1. We need to make sure we can save hold and make sure we can get some product out of this. I understand. But the obvious thing would have been, Teletron, you working? Okay. Boot yourself up. Where are we? What's going on? Talk to me, Teletran. Talk to me. I don't have to go outside. I got a living computer. listen, figure it out. Tell me what's going on. But I digress. That's what they should have done. But
yeah. So that's a couple of moments there where that whole series could have been done. Of course, we wouldn't have the series we have now. We get this,
exactly. So
right?
we have to let it go.
We have to let it go. But I looked at that and I just thought it's like Starscream. I wanted to just hit him off the back of the head, right? 5 across the eyes for Starscream. That's what we're gonna do it right now. So Starscream should have got 5 across the eyes. Teletran should have got 5 across the eyes. Megatron should have got 5 across the eyes for not leaving someone on Nemesis, because that would have been the ultimate backup for it. He fully committed to a plan that obviously, they overzealous.
Right.
These are 3 people that get 5 across the eyes, just within the first 15 minutes of this episode. 5 across the eyes. There's still a couple more minutes to go, like 7 more minutes to go. 15 minutes of the episode, 5 across the eyes, 7 minutes to go. So at this point, they start exploring. They figure it out, and then they come up with a plan saying we have to build a new rocket ship.
These are the Decepticons. The Decepticons are the ones who are making the decision to build a new rocket ship. Right.
Get back to Cybertron, which means they left it perfectly, they left a lot of components back on the Cybertron, on the Ark, right? Left that all behind to build a new ship from scratch, big enough to hold all of them, and they need energy to get it, and plus bring back extra energy to Cybertron. You couldn't use Teletran 1 to help you figure that out, Megatron. Once again, 5 across the eyes. So Megatron gets 2 5 across the eyes. Starscream gets 1 5 across the eyes and 1 off the back of the head. And Bumblebee gets a 5 across the eyes. I think
earlier on, right?
Yeah, I think.
You know what? We should have like a notation, a number, 5 across the eyes.
5 across the eyes.
It's just a number.
What's wrong?
1, 5. I just added up here. But anyway, that's our jokes. That's our jokes. So basically, at this point now, yes, Decepticon is now trying to get themselves organized and realizing, okay, we need to get back. We got to figure out what we got to do. Octopus now has basically revived all his team and got them, and he's basically saying similar stuff in the sense, hey, we're on a different planet, we're somewhere new, but we know that the Decepticons are out because when I went to sleep, the last I saw before I went to sleep, I was trying to knock Megatron in the head, and then I just wake up and no Decepticons in the building. I'm gonna take it that they left me to dead by here. So that means they're out in this world. We need to figure that out. So he's now talking to his team, the Autobots, and saying like, okay, we need to find the Decepticons. And we're gonna have to, and you know what? That's one of those. Was that the first? No, that was done afterwards. So at this point, he basically had Hound.
Yep.
He said, we're gonna need someone to just do a little scouting.
Mm-hmm.
Hound, Cliffjumper.
Yeah.
I want you to go and find the Decepticons. Just tell me what they're doing. Do some recon. Let's know what's going on. Let's see where they are, what they're up to.
Yes.
Do some recon. Do not engage. Just hit me back up. Get the information and come back. See, that's the reason where Barry's inhaling, exhaling. I'm saying the word engage so you can realize that's a very important part in the story coming up. If you don't know.
Yeah.
So, do you want to take over on this board, or you
go right ahead, man? I'll jump in when I jump in.
All right. So now we flash back to the Decepticons, and Megatron is making sure that he's getting himself organized. And he's like, so okay, we're gonna need parts. We need to scout and do whatever the case to be. So some of his team members realize, okay, well, there looks like there's some, or maybe it was Megatron himself realizing off in an area was like. It looks like an industrial, not an industrial, but like a plant, like a generation, like an electrical plant.
Yes.
Or a nuclear plant, I should say. Yeah. So that's where, it's like, you know what? We can get some, let's go check that out. Got there and realized it was, get some energy and source along that line. And good old Soundwave now was able to construct something different because they need a way now to package all this energy. This is the first indication or the first introduction of energon cubes.
Yes.
Basically, digital, like holographic, empty cubes in that sense that will come out of Soundwave's chest and basically give them the ability that they can fill it up and so forth. So that was great. And I love that. I noticed something later on in life that we're so accustomed to energon cubes, but when they were doing this the first time, they will be in cube form. And then when they compressed it down to be more not flat, but
Compact,
more
right?
compact version, able for them to fly around with. I'm gonna come back to that too as well. It made sense. I'm like, that's nice. So even let's go on that part. All the Decepticons have the ability to fly.
Mm.
This is what we find out. All the Decepticons have the ability to fly.
Yep.
And then we find that we get back to Hound and Cliffjumper. So now they're driving around because we're now
Oh my God.
we're being
Yeah.
introduced to them as Autobots. So I know the directive is making them their car form. So they're not going to fly around. They're going to drive around when they're in their car form. No problem.
Right.
They're driving around. No problem. Mental note, people, not to sound bad. Just get your hand ready. Just get your hand ready. You'll know why when we say it. So, Hound and Cliffjumper basically locates Megatron and the Decepticons, and they realize, and they're looking over a cliff, and it sounds like saying, "We're gonna come in stealth mode," because they've now completed the task of Optimus asked them, "Find and see what you're doing."
Yes. Recon. Do not engage.
Do not engage, as we said before. Now, Cliffjumper was being extra eager. Get that hand ready. Big for his britches. Get that hand ready. And the boy just says, "Listen, we need to get deeper. We need to get to hear what they're saying." Good old Hound, at least is a good man. He said, "Listen, we can hear from here." My man basically gave it the ability that you could hear audio from a far distance. He basically put it like a little scanner on him so you can hear the audio. Right. No problem. Because we want to hear what they're doing, report back, and let everybody know where we're going. Again, do not engage. Then you see the screen fills back up, and then all you see is Cliffjumper. My man has himself it looks like a bazooka gun. It's something big like that. Bigger than him. I don't know where he got it and stored it out, but that's another conversation. We'll go with the dynamics of quantum physics and where he's hiding stuff in his miracle type of, Doctor Who on TARDIS, bigger on the inside, small on the outside, looking kind of, pockets.
Right.
My boy has it. I said, "I got Megatron. Get in my sights." Hound's like, brother, partner, boy wonder, do not do it.
Yeah, because that's the famous words. I have him, and this is what I have Megatron dead in my sights. Okay, Cliffjumper, you smaller than Bumblebee.
Real talk.
You smaller, and you think
you
going to take out Megatron. First name Mega, last name Tron. Mega what?
Of the Decepticons.
Mega kilowatt. Anytime you put mega in front of something, you know it's got power. And I'm not talking about politics, but anytime you put mega in front of something, megawatt, Megatron, okay, that means it's extra power. It's not kilowatt, it's megawatt. It's extra. And you think that you, a tiny little Autobot with delusions of grandeur, is going to take out the number one. Okay, I play enough role-playing games. I understand the words hit points, HP, armor class. Okay, you gotta make the roll.
Right.
He's dead to my sights. Okay.
He basically trying to get that lucky shot. He's trying to get that lucky shot. So I'll give him that. I will give him that.
Optimus Prime can't take Megatron down one shot.
We're not even going to get to that point.
No, but I'm just saying, if Optimus can't do it in one.
I know.
What makes you delusions of grandeur? I mean, did he take the Supreme gas and not regular, and it messed with his wiring a little bit? Was he was feeling good? Did he get a little bit too much energon and put him in a different zone? Was he having an outer, body experience? Like, you use a little, even as if you look at Cliffjumper as the toy and how he transforms, he was the size of a GoBot ready to take on Megatron, same size as Optimus Prime.
It's that gun. He felt more comfortable. He's just compensating because he has this big bazooka type of gun cannon. He felt that I give him, and he felt that I can get a clean shot. I just needed that one shot. Because really true, if you're a sniper, you just need one shot. I just need to get that shot. But the problem I have is that this armor class is one thing. That's real talk right there. But the other problem I have is okay, you are in someone's army per se. Because we'll start to understand when you start to watch the show, you start to understand that the Autobots are not really warriors,
No.
soldiers,
No.
like the Decepticons are.
Yeah.
So you only have the few people, like a certain person we'll be saying his name, Cliffjumper, who think he's better than everybody. I'm like, yo, I'm small, but I'm big from the britches. I'm gonna take out anybody. It's like, slow down, partner. Slow down. All I gotta say is, you want to get that clean shot. I understand. But if your boss knew that you were a sharpshooter, if your boss was confident in you taking such type of initiative and knowing that, you know what, even if you did it, I believe that you'll be able to fulfill that task, my man will not tell you, I just want recon only. Observe, return. Listen, I just need to know where these guys are. We can come back with a battle plan, with a source. We can figure that out. That's all he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's why I was vexed. That's why I'm vexed. But Cliffjumper, because we'll see what happened right after this. You'll see how his actions has repercussions. So he should have just buckled up, got back in his car mode, and those two scare off and disappear. No,
Go and get back up.
Go. Cliffjumper said, I got him in my sights. I got him dead in my sights. Hounds like said, yo, we're here to observe. Nah, I got him. I'm gonna do it. Bam! Hound didn't get a chance. He was like, 5 across the eye. I'm here on the back of his head. It's like, guy, don't do it. Too late. Bam! But of course, this thing, kind of to what Barry is saying, it hit him. Bing! Megatron's like,
was that a mosquito?
Who just hit me? Who had the audacity to like, what?
I'm Megatron. It wasn't even a clean hit. It wasn't even like a dead-on hit. He was, remember,
that's what I'm saying.
Cliffjumper said, oh, he's dead to my sights. When he actually shot it, he got Megatron off the back of his helmet.
That's what I'm saying.
Megatron wears a helmet. Hit him off the back of the helmet, and Megatron's like, what was that? Who's over there? Send out Laserbeak.
Check it out. Go get him. Get him.
It came from that direction. Send out Laserbeak.
Okay.
Megatron made a good call. Lucky for them, they only sent Laserbeak. Because if they sent out any of the other ones, done deal. Right? Laserbeak turned around, and Hound was like, uh-oh, you missed. And Cliffjumper was like, oh no, run for
it. When he realized he messed up at that moment. And it's at this moment that Cliffjumper realized he messed up. That's exactly what happened.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Listen, what kills me is that they're now making a break for it. Laserbeak is on their tail, trying to hold them down, trying to catch up to them and get them.
Yes.
Well enough, Cliffjumper gets away. But who faced the damage? Poor Hound.
The one who was following orders. The military person, because he's a military Jeep. The one following orders gets, they split up. Shots go. Hound goes down the hill. Right.
Yeah.
Cliffjumper was able, because when Laserbeak was going, they got to a division, right? So Hound went to the right, Cliffjumper went to the left. Laserbeak got there, didn't even hesitate. Laserbeak went after the bigger victim, which was Hound, and he sent off one of his guns on remote to follow Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper was able to blow up the gun, but that was it. And it's like, I made it, I got away. But Hound had to deal with Laserbeak, precise shooting. Shoots him off the cliff, falls down. Laserbeak thinks, okay, he's dead, flies back to report on what he saw, and went right back, and then got to Soundwave, and it's like, Laserbeak, what you see? 2 Autobots, both are destroyed. Are you sure? He goes, well, I saw one of them go down a cliff. Okay. Megatron, if you didn't learn anything, you should have watched the movie Zombieland. Always go for the double tap. Always double tap. You should have sent out Starscream, who was trigger happy, Thundercracker, Skywarp, let them go to where and double tap Hound before Hound got up, right? Okay. Hound, Cliffjumper finds Hound. Oh man, I'm really sorry. Then he finally calls base for backup.
Yeah. At this point,
they send out Grappler. Grappler has to go or hoist one of the two.
Ratchet and Holler. So Holler pulled him up, and
Holler. Yeah, sorry. Holler pulled him up. It was like, oh, you know what, man? What? You know what should have done? I'm really sorry, man. I'm really sorry, Hound. Cliffjumper, don't be sorry. Next time, just don't miss. Oh, let me tell you, if I was Hound, 5 across the eyes, hard 5 across the eyes with, "Why you kidding?" I would have put a Street Fighter sound to it. 5 across the eyes while going, "Who you kidding?" like, come on, man. You it don't. Prime's words were, "Don't engage."
Come on now, son. Come on.
See, that's what happens because a lot of them, they don't listen. Everyone wants to do their own thing. Everyone wants to think they're the leader when they're not the leader. When the leaders are telling you, "Don't." Starscream, stop wasting your ammo. Cliffjumper, don't engage. See, they need to be a third division of the Autobots or Decepticons. They need to be a third. So you got Decepticons, Autobots, and you got numpties.
Mm-hmm.
The numpty squad. The numpties, that's right. They're numb on the outside, empty on the inside. Numpty squad. And that's Cliffjumper and Starscream.
Hilarious.
Don't follow orders, do their own thing, and it backfire on them all the time. Yeah. So that was that. They get back, okay, fine, gotta figure it out. And then Megatron's still making a spaceship from scratch, taking all materials from Earth, making a spaceship from scratch. Sees humans for the first time. But why'd you leave the Ark? You should have just stayed at the Ark and just strip down the Ark and use that as your spaceship.
Well, that's it. Exactly. At that point, he should have just went back and just went for pieces. At that point, he'll realize that Optimus is alive, but he should have at least made the attempt to go back. Because up to that point, he didn't know that the Autobots are alive. So he could have just, in his mind, you have an empty shell. I need parts. I should have went back there, but I digress.
Yes. So that's what stands out for me. So that was just,
yeah. Well,
episode one of more than
episode
one.
I got one more part I want to bring.
Go for it.
On that episode one. So basically, the next scene or the next episode scene you'll see is that now Megatron is now realizing, okay, I need another place to get source of energy because Starscream again is an impotent fool. He is now testing out the energon to make sure, and shooting out the nearby rock boulders across the way. Megatron again, what are you doing? I want to test to make sure it works. Listen, if I didn't think it would work, I would have told you to test it. I trust who set it up. You didn't make it. That kind of organization and that kind of setup came from Soundwave. I trust Soundwave. Listen, it's supposed to work. That's what you just did. You
didn't know. You didn't test it. That was his thing. You didn't know, Megatron. You didn't test it. I'm a better leader. If I was leading the Decepticons, this war would have been done a millennium ago. It's like,
man, you want me to just go into gun mode and just knock you up, butt you across the back of the head with it. Holy! All I gotta say is this, man. Megatron saying, you just wasted more energy on you. Now we gotta find some more resources. Yeah. Thank you, Starscream.
Now we got to do 2 strikes instead of 1 more to get enough energy. Thanks, Starscream.
You're the best. So with that, now they go and find an offshore oil rig. And this is where we now see them. They interact in the first interactions. Not say the first interaction. At least they're saying they did the Decepticons did the first interaction with humans when they did that first raid. This is now the Autobots' first interaction with humans. But what I wanted to point out of this whole, there's 2 things that happened during that scene that made me die with laughter. For one, the Autobots, the Decepticons, they flew in.
Yes.
Let's go back to that part. So the Decepticons have the ability to fly. Even when they're in robot mode, they have the ability to fly.
Yes.
Perfect. No problem. Then you see the Autobots. The Autobots start flying in. So the Autobots, when they're in robot mode, they have the ability to fly.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Unfortunately, you only see this after a little while. I guess the direction they changed it up that they don't fly no more. Because after that, you don't. After that particular miniseries, I gotta go back and check if it's 5 or 6 or whatever the case. But after a while, you don't start seeing no Autobots flying anymore.
The only one that's supposed to fly at that time, I mean, they did that more after, was Sideswipe. He was the red. He's already on this side.
Yes.
Right, because he has a rocket pack.
Yes.
Right?
Well, that's
him
exactly.
And Sunstreaker. Both him and Sunstreaker have rocket packs that allow them to fly.
Didn't Mirage have one? Or Mirage didn't have a...
No, Mirage never had one. It was really Sunstreaker and
those were like the twins.
Sideswipe. They're the ones that have rocket packs. The twins. Right? They're supposed to fly. They work as aerial combat. That's why that was their specialty.
And that was it. Everybody else didn't have the ability to fly, but they flew in this particular first episode. So follow me with this. You're flying in, whatever the case may be. You're now having to fight with the Decepticons again on the oil rig. Megatron I got my Energon cubes. Decepticons, we're out. Deuces, we're out. They start to fly off. I'm gonna leave something for you to do, Prime, while I'm making my escape. He blows out two posts out of the oil rig, so it falls down.
Yes.
Right? Humans, some of the humans, they're caught in the mid crossfire. They're getting trapped underneath the grid. Someone came to help them. I can't remember who. I think maybe it was Octopus. Someone came to help them out.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one thing that kills them.
I know what you're talking about.
They land in the water, no problem. Ask me why, for one. Let's be realistic. You're full of metal. You're heavy like Ram Goat. How you ain't thinking? That's the one and just the obvious things. But I digress. We'll let that one go. Why are you swimming? Humans having a problem over yonder, so I'll come to you.
Yeah, I think it was Hauler. Once again, Hauler is one of the little trucks. He's one of the little trucks. He's the one that got trapped.
Right. So no, see, Hauler got trapped, and then someone came to help him out.
Yeah.
But someone swimmed over to Spike and his father.
Yeah,
the spark plug. So I think it was Optimus who swam over. So in this regard, I'm now seeing 3 Autobots swimming. But here's the biggest joke. For Hauler, who got his arm caught up, and I think it was, again, I can't remember who freed him out. But once he freed him out, okay, fly out. So wait a minute. You couldn't fly out of the water, fly over, hover over to where you go, lean over him, pick up the human, or see if you can pick up the railing. And if it's stuck because of something on both sides, that's cool. Cut your way in like you did. No problem. But you had to be able to fly. So now, what killed me too is I think this is the same episode the first time you're seeing. That wasn't Mirage. I think it was Jazz.
Yes.
Jazz now using a grappling hook out of his hand. Hand goes down, come up with the grappling hook. Fling it to you to pull Optimus in. Wait a minute, can't you fly? Can't you just pick up the humans and just float out of the water, and just float and just put them on the other side of the ridge that they can be safe? What happened to your flying ability? Because you had to leave there somehow, fly out from the ridge, to go back to the arc.
Right.
You could have flown. You could have flew. You could have flew.
Right.
And then the first interaction with Sparkplug and Spike. And Spike is being, oh, you're off world. Oh, you're aliens, and wow. And they're like, yeah, you're not shocked to see some living robot standing in front of you as tall as
Optimus Prime.
Come on.
We are the Autobots from Cybertron. And in my mind, making a diary.
Thank you. That's the part that killed me afterwards. Holy, that's the part that killed me afterwards. That the next episode now. No, was it the first end of the first one? No, it was the second one, the beginning of the second episode.
Yeah.
You see Spike now on top of the mountain by where the ark is, and he's writing a diary, and and they're gonna go to Cybertron,
right?
And he wants to go.
Yeah,
I'm like, you just met these alien beings, and yes, you're trying to be nice and helpful and whatever the case to be, and your father say, yeah, you can go, only if I can go. I don't know about you. I ain't going up there just so soon. I need to know you. What's up there for me? I'm gonna eat. Or I'm gonna sleep. What?
First, exactly. So you want to go to Cybertron. You don't know how far it is. You don't know if they have what kind of air they have. You definitely know the Autobots don't have food. What are you going to eat? So you want to go to Cybertron. And then again, and that's something never covered in the series, right? And that's reminiscent to cartoon series. When I say cartoon series, if you watch a lot of the Bugs Bunny stuff, anytime you had one of the main characters had a son or a daughter, you never saw the mother. Like Sylvester, you had Sylvester the cat. He had his son. You never saw the mom.
True.
Right? You never see the mom. Like the mom is never spoken about, never mentioned. Sylvester's getting in all this trouble with his son. You never see the mother, right? And any of the other characters like that, anytime it was like that, there was never a full parent thing involved. There was only just one parent. So in this situation, it's the same thing, right? It's you got Spike, and you have his dad Sparkplug, and you never hear Spike mention anything about his mom. Him and his dad wear the same uniform, the same place. There's no, it's not to say that the mom's passed away, Don't mention the mom divorce. They never mention the mother. In the comic book, they mention the mom, right? The miniseries, but they never mention the mom, right? So,
listen, you know what? It's just, again, it's a day of age of when they make that stuff.
You got a responsible parent, and a responsible parent says, okay, no problem. You want to go? Well, I want to go too. Sure. Do I want to see a different planet? But I want to make sure if I go to a different planet, can I still get a cheeseburger? No, I don't eat Energon. I don't eat Energon. What am I going to eat? When I say, man, I got to pee.
I'm going to be nice and assume that they have those type of conversation off site, and we'll just let that go for now. That's the only thing I can be nice to them. I'll be nice and give them that. But it's hilarious that these type of scenarios was so, like, if you were trying to update, if they're trying to remake the first, the Gen 1 series, nearly word for word or scene by scene, these are stuff you're going to have to fill in. You're going to have to fill in the gaps very well inside here, because there's certain things that made no sense then.
No, they didn't make no sense. And that's it. So we talk about that, going to a different planet. And then even then, you're going to a different planet, not under peaceful times. It's under war.
Well, no. You know what? We could put a pause on that. 4 million years have passed, so we don't know if there's war or not. You could be walking in. It's only war between these two fractions right here, because they're off base. They don't know what happened back there, so they're just continuing to war to what they know of.
Yes. So that's the last memory. Okay, I get what you're saying. But keep in mind though, right?
If it's still
Shockwave was left there as commander in chief to oversee anything. So let's say the war is over. Who won? Mm-hmm. The Autobots could be coming back, and it's like, hey, we're back. By the way, we're all now Decepticons, no matter if we're ground vehicles or air vehicles, and you guys are seen as outlaws, so now you're arrested. And what's this meat bag thing here? What's this? I can't remember what Megatron used to call humans, right? But it was like, what's this meat thing here? What are we supposed to do with this? What it's so small and fragile. What are we supposed to do with this? It's like when we see a bug. When you walk outside and you see like a potato bug, or you see a spider, or you see something, you're like, oh, what the heck is that? Right? You don't pay no mind to it. You see ants, you walk by, if they ain't messing up your house, you don't pay no mind to it. Yeah. You walk by, you go away. You see a fly, you go your way. That's how the Autobots or the Decepticons really look at humans. They see them as little gnats. They see them as flies. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're not bothering with this, right? Mm-hmm. And walk away. So I'm like, this blows my mind. So you want to go to, if I'm going to a different planet, I want to make sure, hey, I gotta get there. I'm gonna get treated okay. Well, I'm not going to be seen as germaphobe and thrown into some kind of tube. And then you go. So that's it. So Spike now writes in his diary, wants to go, walking back in. Now, this is where Spike gets 5 across the eyes. You are the main person right now on Earth. You and your dad know about the Autobots. The Autobots have told them about themselves. And they've told you about who they're fighting, the Decepticons. Right? How do you not recognize the symbols? He comes off his boulder, sees a Walkman, and, picks it up, looks and says, oh, what's this? One of the Autobots must have left it outside. You didn't see the purple Decepticon symbol?
Yeah, well, he just, I hear what you're saying.
What Autobot would have a Walkman? Right? First of all, you pick it up and say, oh, one of the Autobots must have left it outside. It's got the Decepticon symbol right on its window where you put the tapes in. He throws in his bag, walks right past security of the Ark. Well, of course, the Ark can't tell Decepticon from Autobot.
Well, let's go back on that one. Exactly.
Right? And then my man puts it down, and then all of a sudden he walks away, and then, Soundwave transforms himself back into the Ark, plugs in, and starts getting all the resources from around the Earth, because Teletran 1 now has already done a search. So now Megatron wants to use Teletran 1, and nobody didn't put a passcode on Teletran 1. Nobody didn't check to see how the Decepticons came back and why they weren't there. And it's like, oh, Teletran 1 did this. Maybe we should update Teletran 1's internal memory or put some safety guard on there. They didn't do any of that. They left the door. First of all, the Ark is wide open. Like that door, the door doesn't close to the Ark. It's wide open. Yeah. Anyone can come and go as you feel. So no security. I mean, really? They thought they were living in the suburbs in a great neighborhood where they can just leave their doors unlocked. Then they realized they crash landed in America where people get crazy. You always lock your front door. No matter what day, morning, noon, night, lock the front door. They leave it wide open. So first of all, Spike just brought Soundwave right through. Soundwave hook up, find all the energy resources that Teletran has compiled for himself. So smart on Soundwave how he got in. But you dealing with Autobots, you couldn't say Autobot symbol looks more like a head. Decepticon symbol has a sharp, pointy thing at the bottom.
Listen, you know what? It's well, you know what? It's like a personal tattoo. You see all your crew having a tattoo. You're not paying attention who's different or not.
There's only two.
I know, but he's
Rod,
young.
That's like
he's
me.
Young. I know.
No, that's like me going to LA and I walk by and I see a red handkerchief on the ground. And I pick up the red handkerchief and say, oh, someone must have left it. I'm going to put it in my back pocket. And then I cross a certain street and then I look around and I see everyone has blue handkerchiefs in their back pocket. And I'm thinking, oh, they all got blue. Nobody has a red one. And I pull it up and say, hey, did anyone drop this red handkerchief? Now, them looking around with all blue handkerchiefs going to go, oh, he's a blood and this is crypt territory. Okay, it's on. My naivety would have got me, done up. So that being said, there's only two symbols you need to know, only two tattoos you need to know. Autobot, Decepticon. You can't tell that.
Well, this is the naivety of young Spike Witwicky. We'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you picking up random stuff off the floor. He and I like, ooh, fine, I could sell it. But ooh, look, someone. His mindset was like, wow, at least he wasn't trying to thief it. He's like, ooh, I'm gonna keep this. He's like, well, I guess someone dropped this. Someone left this here. Should have left it, but we'll let it go. But he basically brings in
the communication specialist with backup. Yeah, because we all know Soundwave has 4 cassettes, even though they'd only showed a couple of ones. He's got 4.
They only use 3. Yeah.
Right. But he's got 4. So he's got Frenzy. He's got you
got Frenzy. You got Frenzy. You have Rumble. You have
Frenzy, Rumble, Laserbeak, Ravage. Oh, sorry, and there's a 5th one, Diamond Beak. So Diamond Beak is very similar to Laserbeak. So Laserbeak is red. Diamond Beak is yellow. Same thing. They're both birds. Right? Okay. And just like Laserbeak is like a sharpshooter, Diamond Beak has that beak that can cut through anything. He's not often in the cartoon, but he's made. So all the time, Soundwave to me is my boy because he walks with backup constantly. He's got 5 cassettes that transform. So even if you got him, you got to deal with 5. Right. And that's including himself. That makes 6. 6 on 1. He's always got everyone outnumbered. And he's one of the bigger Autobots. Like, I mean, he shrinks down small, but he's height-wise, he's the same size and power as Megatron.
Right, he is. And that's a good point you talk about size, because I know they are trying to be as relative as possible, but there are times when you see Rumble.
Yes.
We'll just use the humanoid part of that as a Rumble. He is, sometimes he's looking small, and sometimes he's looking about the same height, because we're going to see now in this same episode, there's a part where later on from Soundwave now getting this information.
Yes.
And Soundwave now basically, now that he's transformed into full robot mode, and now he's trying to download all that information, Teletron now not realizing, oh, you're not one of me people, then. You're not one of my people. Alarm. Everybody now start freaking out. My man's getting as much information as possible, and then bolts out. The joke was that he ejected out of Ravage out of him to get the cassette to go into Teletran One to start recording and downloading all the information.
Yes.
And when that happened, that's when Teletran One started to like freak out, like, hey, someone is here, or something along that line. Then he had to bolt. So when he bolts, he's telling Ravage, he's running. It was so humanoid, and it made me weak with laughter. Soundwave is running out, Ravage, eject. As I say, brother, hurry up, boy, we gotta go. They're coming. Ravage, eject. And he's not even stopping to look for his parts. You know what I mean? His unit. My man's like, I'm running out the door. Ravage, eject. It made me weak like a minute. Every man for himself. Run, brother. Made me weak. Every man for himself. Poor Ravage getting out, and then he get catch. But while enough, they've never said this type of thing because they've always made this. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
They've always made it that whenever the information was recorded on those particular tapes, which is
Yes.
Laser, Ravager, anybody,
Yeah.
it has to be put back into
Soundwave.
Soundwave for it to be recorded, or at least get it transmitted to maybe the local internal files,
Yes.
the hard drive.
Right.
We're getting a little technical right now. But this is the particular one time that Ravage never made it back to Soundwave.
Not at this point, no.
But Soundwave had all that information that was needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the one time that was a typo in the way they did that.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
But it was cool. It was cool.
But and I get why. I think three of them would have to do it. So because Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, and Ravage don't speak in this series, so they have to always go back in, right? Whereas Frenzy and Rebel do speak. They have their own voices. They're so they can always say, "Oh, this is what we heard," and just relay it that way, right? So that was.
It was beautiful, classic, like. EJ, my boy's like every man for himself.
Yo, gotta go. It's either you with me or I leave you.
Yeah, I'll catch you back. Meet back at the rendezvous point. What? I'm out.
So exactly. So that's what got me, right? And he gets back. Okay, fine. Ravage gets captured. They come up with a plan. They go through the information.
Right.
Okay. What else in that episode? Right. And then
Megatron with the. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, just the Sherman Dam. If you remember,
that's what I was gonna say. Yes, Sherman Dam.
Yeah. So now Megatron, Soundwave gets back and he briefs Megatron and tells him, "Listen, this is what we're figuring out. All the Earth's resources, and this is what we need. Autobots have been compiling information, so we're compiling it as well. We got it now. So where you can get the best place to get the most amount of energy would be the Sherman Dam." Right. All right, we're going to hit them. We're going to hit it up. And realizing the concept. Again, you got to look at it that they don't know what the concept of what humans are and what flesh meters they are as
flesh creatures. That's it. Flesh creatures
would be. And it's just hilarious, but you understand the concept of water and pushing through a dam to generate energy. So what we're going to do, we're going to need something big like a tidal wave. I'm like, how do you even know the word tidal wave? There's certain words and stuff that they were saying that always made me weak with laughter. Like,
I took it that they would know these words because when Teletran 1 scanned it, it kind of put the encyclopedia, because we don't even know if Autobots speak English, right? I just took it. Teletran 1 went around and got what the local language was from certain parts and just imparted that with them.
Universal translator.
Exactly. And that's why I left it up. I always left it like that. Universal translator, I put it in there. This is why, a transformer anywhere in the world can speak any language because, and they do mention they have universal translators in some of their episodes, like later on when they go off planet to different, and they're on alien planets, but they understand them perfectly. So some of them do make that. So yes, I kind of blind eye. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Sherman Dam.
So basically, let's say. So then basically they organize themselves. The Decepticons going to hit the Sherman Dam.
Yes.
What they did was sweet. Is that a couple of miles up the road? I mean, it shouldn't be that far up. But yeah, up the road, Soundwave lets out Rumble. So this is the first time we're seeing Rumble.
Yes.
This should be the first time we're seeing Rumble. Rumble, as we're saying, he's a humanoid of Soundwave's cassette soldiers.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of calling him. But yeah, he basically has the ability to turn his hands to transform into
these giant jackhammers,
and he just basically going into the middle of the river or of the river and just jacking up to this thing create more momentum, and just the shockwave, aka turns it into a tsunami tidal wave. So there's more energy being pushed through the Sherman Dam, so they can now put it as output to change into Energon Cube. Great idea. I'm not even knocking that. It makes sense. Like Megatron, you're smart man. You're smart boy. You're smart.
At least that. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. But
these things happen, and the Autobots came by, realized what was being done, and then basically tried to thwart that plan. And then, just minor stuff, they get into a battle in battle and whatever the case to be. And Same. Here's another scenario again, where stuff that never made sense is basically off of it. The same scenario. They now in the water.
Yes.
They're in water. Hound goes in the water to I'll make a 30-second mental note.
Go for it.
We will know later on in life that Spike is always associated with Bumblebee. But in these early editions, he was always associated with Hound.
Yes.
The father would always jump in with Hound's car and Hound's truck and drive off. So those two were the pair. It was human and Hound and human. That was the pairing up.
That's what they
so,
exactly.
So basically, he's running that part. So Hound with Spike get to the river, and then Hound said, "I'll go deal with what's going down there."
We detected the source from the tsunami is happening here. It's like, I'll go and deal with it. It's like, I'll be right back. And then a covering comes over his face, like a mask.
That part, I was like,
he was going deep sea diving. He's like, I'm like, why?
It's like,
just to show that he's going underwater. It's like, you didn't need one in outer space, but now you need a mask now. Okay, and he goes underwater.
Yeah, you know what? Leakage and water come in and
and that's how I took it, right? But it was still funny for me.
It's funny because you know what? I look at it too as well as a drawing aspect. Now, if they left it open, kids now will not be able to hit space, so you'd have to worry about them having that space of covering up there.
Yes.
But some kids might decide to go in the water. Well, I saw a Hound. He was able to go in the water with no mask. I don't need a mask.
It's true, and that's where the credits come in.
Hasbro don't need no problem. Right. Hasbro don't need no trouble, man. Listen, mask up. Let's go. So I can't remember if Rumble was masked up. I really can't remember.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he
wasn't, right?
He wasn't.
I don't think.
Rumble went under, and it's an interesting story about Rumble because you had Rumble and you had Frenzy. Okay, now the color scheme was, if I remember right, Rumble was always supposed to be the red one. But when they got over here to North America, they got the names confused, so they made Rumble the blue one. Right? And then they always made Frenzy like his twin brother because they look exactly the same thing, was the red one. But they gave Frenzy the same jackhammer pylons, and Frenzy is supposed to use sound waves, like ultrasonic, high-pitched sound waves, which he really never did in the cartoon. So they always kind of got those two confused. Every time he did his powers, like, let's get it. No one rumbles with Rumble. Right, so yes, Hound gets under that water. He goes underneath there. He goes looking for the source of it. He sees, sees Rumble. Why didn't he just shoot him? Hound got a big missile on his shoulder.
Listen, these are the things that got me. I wanted to say all that. I said a certain part before, and I'm going to say it now. I'm going to revert back to that in regards to Rumble and his size, because when you look at what the size of Rumble is, Rumble should not be as tall or nearly as tall as Hound.
No.
He should not be.
No.
But this is where I'm saying they're related or trying to get the size difference, whatever the case to be. We're trying to promote this as best as possible. But in reality, Rumble should not be as tall or close enough that he can put his hands around. Again, another killing thing that killed me. They're trying to fight, whatever the case to be, and they're now choking, like saying, "Brother, I don't know. Can you really squeeze my windpipe? Can you really squeeze up my windpipe? I don't know." But he's there. Rumble is trying to squeeze out Hound, and I'm like, why don't you just shoot him? Just like you said, you flew in. Rumble didn't see you. He is battling it. All you see is Hound coming from the back. Hound. This is when you take in the power. You take the imagery of Cliffjumper. I got him dead in my sights. That should have been the words out of your mouth. I got him dead in my sights.
This time, I got him dead in my sights.
That should have been it. But that happened. Rumble beats him. That's another part that killed me. But we'll kind of let this go because I say these guys are not warriors. They're not fighters. So,
but I always thought Hound was a fighter. That's what I felt thinking. I thought Hound was a soldier.
He should have been. I thought he was too.
Yeah, he's after a military jeep. He's got the colors. I always took him that he was one of the fighters. I know, for example, like Wheeljack. Wheeljack is not a fighter. Wheeljack is an inventor. Okay, got that.
He's a scientist. Yes.
Yes, he's a scientist. Prowl. He was some type of warrior. You know what I mean? Hound to me, some type of warrior. But anyway, so yeah, I get you. So he turns out they fight. Next, Rumble beats Hound underwater, leaves him like buried underneath something. Comes up to the water, and then once again, Sparkplug is looking at us like, "Hey, who are you? Where's Hound?" Okay, if you are the source of the incident,
talk about it.
Right? and you know your buddy goes down to deal with it, but
Talk
you don't
about
see
it.
him come up, and you see another one come up.
Talk about it.
Automatically, you know he's the bad guy. He was never at the Ark. You've
And
never
I
seen.
was about to say that part. I was about to say he was never on. Was he in this morning rouster? Yeah, the morning rouster. I don't remember seeing you there. No,
Yeah,
you're not
you
one of
were
us.
never.
That should have been the answer.
That should have been the answer. Plus, once again, he's got the Decepticon symbol square on his chest, up on his shoulders. You hanging with the Autobots. You can't tell one from the other. Once again, remember, I'm walking with a red handkerchief, and I'm walking into an area with a lot of blue ones. So no, you automatically should see that. And what's the first thing Sparkplug's going to do? Hey, and he's going to run over trying to punch him. How do you punch metal? Tink.
Thank you. Thank you. And this is where we go back with the size difference. But
now
he's about a human size. This is Rumble.
Yes,
Rumble
yes.
It should be around. This is the height the Rumble should be. So Rumble should be about say 6 feet.
Well, yeah,
should be around.
I'll give him a little bit taller, but yeah, higher,
Yeah.
but close. But
Yeah.
high, like,
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
maybe
let's
go
give him
7. I can go
6,
7, 8 feet. I can go with Rumble.
Oh, I don't go
even
big.
7.
I won't go.
No,
Yeah,
it's too much.
but
Right. You're saying, so,
8 is too much.
So let's say 7. I'm gonna go with 7, right? But he walks out there. Sparkplug goes over to deal with him, and then what does my man do? He finally does what he should have done. 5 across the eyes. He gave Sparkplug a.
I was weak. I'm like saying, watch this now. Watch this human abuse going on right here.
What
are you doing on me?
Yeah, wait for me.
What is this fly? What is this fly doing to me? Why is this fly bothering me? Swat the fly. I was, brother. I know you're trying to look after your. Cause I think, did he? So wait. When Rumble came out, I'm sorry, people. I'm being very detailed on this because you got to understand it's kind of craziness. When Rumble came out, I think Spike interacted with him first. Hey, what you doing? Now being naive again? Like, you are in this morning roster. Like, what are you talking like that? And then he got pushed aside. So he pushed him aside, and then Sparkle comes like, say, hey, don't do that. Basically, say, don't rough handle my boy like that, my son.
Yeah.
Ping! And I'm like. At one point, in reality, if you're a true Jackie Chan, you'd be like, "Ping! Ow! I just hit metal." Really? You don't think it's gonna hurt if you hit a piece of metal? Then he gets swatted. Hilarious.
Yes. Right. And then they have to go and get someone to go and save Hound because I can't remember who went.
No. It was Spike.
Spike. That's right.
Spike now.
Sparkplug. Sorry.
No, Spike. It was Spike. So Spike.
Yeah. Right.
Spike is now again the human now. Having the ability to hold his breath and fly down and go down, and just Hound is now covered up with rocks. So I don't know where you think you had the strength to move it, but you know what? Fine, you did that, and you come back up, and now he's now suffering, taking in water, and you see Hound behind him. Wow, yeah, thanks a lot, or something along the line like you know what?
You almost flooded your engine.
You didn't flood your engine. I was weak. I was like, okay. Now at least we're getting some human engine type of robotic conversation, and let's say, well, I don't know what the inside of you, but you could have flooded your engines. Okay,
right?
I appreciate it. I appreciate the help.
Right, and then of course, in top of Sherman Dam, that's where Megatron and
Optimus are having their fight.
Yeah, it starts I think inside the dam. Then he kind of gets kicked out, and then they kind of end up on top, or vice versa. And that's when they pull out the energy mace, and the other one pulls out the energy axe. The energy on.
Very rarely they did that, man. I was stuck that they only did that very rarely, man. Oh, man. And then basically, as per usual, Megatron is telling him, "Listen, you can't do this. You're washed up. Prime, come back. You're old, Megatron. You're yesterday's news. You're yesterday's junk pile." I'm like, whoo, trash talking going on.
Yes, you're ready for the scrap heap.
I'm like, okay, we're getting some pure scrapping on going now. Yeah, Megatron still just dealt him a hand and braps, knocked the man out. The man out in the water. Away. Yeah, and like again at this point he should be like fight. Let me just do like a Superman, a back. Like, if you're going for that 3-pointer, just float back out of the way. Like, listen, boys, we got our energy. Let's go. And done. Pull a General Zod. That's all Zod would have done. Kneel before Zod. That was a Zod move. That would have been a Zod move right there. That would have been a Zod move right there.
Oh, man. Anyway. Look, still fun watching, right?
It's still fun.
So that was the end of was that the end of the second episode? No.
That was near the end. Near the end,
right? Because they go to the mines.
And we'll go to the mines, right? So basically, I just want to come back to one more thing. Jazz again. Prime fell into the water. And Jazz again is using his hook wrench to pull Prime out. Prime, you can't fly out, or none of you boys can just fly over, hover, and just dip in the water, pick up the man, put him over your shoulders, and fly him out. You couldn't do that. Anyways, I just want to say
that guy has all the memes, or that I think he's African. That kid there is kind of.
That's just the thing.
Cool. I know I follow him on TikTok, but he's just
he's hilarious. And that this would have been perfect. All you need to do, if you remember, put you here.
Yeah,
just put it in here. That's all it would have been.
Yep.
So that's basically it. And then they basically realized that Decepticons realized that they gotta get some more energon by going to the mines.
Right.
So to go to the mines. Hilarious as it was, the mines. It's a small little place, which made me also think this part as well.
The Bruma,
They sent in Bumblebee
and Sparkplug
and Sparkplug, right?
Yeah,
right. So they send them both in because they're the smallest ones that they can enter in. So in my head is like, how the other Decepticons that are bigger? How do they enter in? Why you need the smallest ones? Like, you make it sound like no one can fit through.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, because if you watch the episode, they kind of fly out. So I assume they fly in. Now, for example, like Megatron, when Megatron transforms in the gun mode, he transforms. Well, his size always varies, and they always said that he can change his size, right? So it can be either a human size handgun, or you can transform into a handgun that can be,
held by Starscream.
By Starscream, right? And the Starscream's a sharpshooter, so he always would go there. But anyways, that's so funny. So you figure that if Starscream was holding him one time, Starscream would just crush him. Just to win, right? It's like, Megatron, transform quickly. I shot Optimus, and by the way, crunch.
Right, but crack. That's it. Yeah, I digress.
We digress. So they go around to get into mines, and they're going to set these mines, set these bombs, right? Because Wheeljack gave them the bombs. Say, you guys got 60 seconds. All right, right. They start setting the bombs, and then it's like, Optimus, I don't like it. It's taking too long. He transforms, drives up to the side of the mountain. Okay, Roller, go in there. And it was cool because for once they showed Roller. Mm-hmm. One of the few times you see Roller that comes out from the back, because the whole thing is what's in Optimus Prime's trailer. Right. And there's a whole thing there, the playset, that has so much more to it that they hardly touch on in the cartoon. You know, so Roller comes out, Roller goes in there, and then, it's like, Autobots, Decepticons, and then it's, explosions. They're all buried. Oh no, Sparkplug and Bumblebee.
Sparkplug and Bumblebee are buried inside, and then Optimus is now realizing Roller.
Yeah, he's like Roller, but the explosion kind of blasts out the front of the cave, so Optimus rolls all the way down the hill, side over side. So he's damaged. Roller's gone. Don't know what's happening with them, and that's how it ends off. And then it picks up with, oh man, we got to do something. Let's they flip Optimus back onto his wheels, right? So it takes all these Autobots to finally flip Optimus back to his wheels, which shows you how big Optimus is or how small some of the other Autobots are.
Right. And that's what I'm saying, that it's the size difference. I know they're trying, again, it's the beginning and everything like that, but the ratio of that was, they should have been bigger. They should have been bigger than just even the trailer.
Yes.
Of height wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
right. So they turned around, they did it. Again, it's got to do for dramatic effect. Come on, Prime, you can do it. Transform.
Made me weak.
Roller comes back. Roller, you're still around. Yay. It's like, okay, they got to dig out, Bumblebee and Sparkplug, and they dig it out hand by hand. And it's like, hey, Prime, we did it. We're saved. It's like, yay, everything's great. The Autobots are buried in there. The Decepticons are buried in there. And Wheeljack's like, yeah, my bomb's 60-second timer. You weren't joking, Wheeljack. 59.9 seconds to be exact. I'm like, all right, everything's working out. And then you hear the big explosion. You see the Decepticons flying out.
Right.
It's like, no, they lived. And then now this is what gets me. I'm not sure if it was, and this is why I lose this moment. I'm not sure if it was in this episode or episode 2. It had to be in this moment where Starscream and Megatron have it out.
You see, you got to be more specific because they always seem to be having it out.
This is the first time where, and Megatron counts him down, right? It's like Starscream is like, if I was leader, this would have been different. I would have done things differently. I would have been already, but and Megatron's like, you will never be a leader. And it's like, either you're born to lead, or you're not.
It was this one.
You're born to lead or you're not. And he's like, oh, Megatron, you made all these mistakes. And he's up in Megatron's face. And he's like, you know what, Starscream, I'm done with you. And he's kind of conversation's done. And he starts to walk away. And Starscream pulls up his hand and takes a shot. And Soundwave is like, Megatron. And he dodges and he misses, like, Starscream, mistake number 1. I'm like, about time. Because he called it, like, you took a shot at me and you missed. Mistake number 1. I'm like, finally, and then he goes, and then he's like, mistake number 2 is like always saying how you want to take me down and you don't take me down. I'm like, Megatron, just deal with it. And then Megatron is like, my turn. No, I'm sorry. This man switched faster than the flip of a coin. He was all big for his britches until he realized he missed Megatron, and Megatron just turned around and my turn.
I'm gonna dead out. Man gonna kill me. No,
you're gonna go flat line. And even Megatron shooting on purpose missed and just took him in the shoulder. Just pow. And I'm like, why you let him live? You know this guy's gunning for your position. Take him out. HR's on your side. Soundwave saw it and said, well, Megatron didn't swing first.
Well, right? See, here's the confidence of Megatron. He knows that no matter what, you can give this guy the ammunition, give him the battle plans. Starscream will still mess it up. That's how much confidence he knows that, like, I'm going to still need this guy. I know I'm going to need this guy somewhere down the line. Let me just utilize him. I still need a body. I still need a body to man the gunner when we leave. Or I need a guy to clean up, the swap the deck. I don't know. I'm going to need somebody, and it's always going to be him. Because what kills me at that point is that when he got shot, he's now on his knees.
Yes.
And he's scrubbling. He's like,
he's running on his knees. Megatron.
He's on his knees, people. And I'm like, wow, when you can see the human emotion in that, in the sense of the reality of the guy's his mortal death was right there. He saw his life flash before his eyes. He saw his life in 4K. Maybe in that days we didn't have 4K, but we'll add them up and say at that time
they had 4K. We didn't. They had 4K.
They had 1080. We'll be nice. We'll give them. They were 1080 when we were not even at two nothing. They were at 1080. They were crystal clear. They were clean. I saw my life flash. All on his dashboard, in his eyes. It's not good.
Yeah, he should have took the mercy killing, because for how Starscream's story ends up, I think if he got killed off there, that would have been a lot better for him and for Megatron. All the time, Megatron got to deal with this insubordinate, schlub. So yeah, he turns out takes the shot at him, right? And he missed, and he goes back and he shoots him. And Starscream begging for his life. And then because of certain events, it's like, oh, wait a minute, we have to go now. And Megatron was feeling good for half a moment. Megatron was like, yep, still got it. Still on top. I'm Megatron. You could see the way he was standing is like, yep, still got it. Still got it. It's like, who are you trying to impress besides yourself? Everyone else follows you without question. No one questions your authority. It's only the Screamer that questions your authority.
He gotta show his. He has to show his power. Just let everybody just remind you.
Megatron. I mean, look, and you got to keep in mind, right? Soundwave up there, but fiercely loyal, right? Yeah. Okay, Shockwave. And in the comic book, you see Shockwave come down, and he's the one that challenges in the miniseries, and when they start going in a regular series by Marvel. Shockwave is the one that starts challenging Megatron for the leadership of the Autobots, because he's also another kind of gun, right? He turns into a giant laser gun, and in the toy, he was a purple laser gun, and they just even left him as his own thing. He didn't shrink down in size. He stayed his own size. He would just turn into that giant gun that would fly around and hover, and just, so he was powerful, right? Even when you see the opening with the Autobots and they show him in the cartoon, right? In the opening, you would see him transform, he'd be a gun, like a cannon on top of a tower, just shooting at everybody, and then transform back into his Shockwave mode.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, why is Starscream such a, Starscream, you're a little bit lower on the totem pole than you think, big for your britches, Megatron should have given him 5 for the eyes right there. 5 for the eyes right there. Megatron gets 5 for the eyes for not giving him 5 for the eyes. You know, what's a shoulder shot?
Foolish mortal.
You know, and then you get in there with your own ego. Like, yes, I am Megatron.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, pure jokes. So listen, at this point now, these guys realizing that we need one more heist.
Yes.
We need one more to do. So basically, they let's see if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because in these 3 episodes now, they built a ship from scratch, which they could have gotten, right?
Yeah.
Scavenging some of the parts from the Ark. You know, and later on, I mean, if you watch this is only a 3-episode miniseries. Later on, you find out, or very close after this, when they go into like its full syndication, you find out that Nemesis, their spaceship, is actually on Earth.
Right.
They never looked for it, but it crash landed on Earth, and they do find it. You know, jokes.
Yeah. So we listen. We'll have to come to that. We're gonna come back.
And I know people are gonna say, "What do you mean?" It's like, okay, if you look at the episode where they bring in the Insecticons find they're part of the original spaceship, the Nemesis, the remains of it on Earth. You know, the Nemesis 2, as I want to call it, is the one that's underwater, right? But you'll see why in this episode. So they turn around, make the spaceship. They go around and they do the last hit. The last hit is at what is that? The Air Force base they hit?
Yeah, so like an Air Force base, kind of
rocket base or whatever.
Yeah,
that was just a giant mirage
hologram by Hound.
By Hound. Hound is dangerous, man. Come on, he was underutilized after the series. It was all about Bumblebee. That's my only thing. I was like, why is it always got to be Bumblebee? There's so many interesting.
Again, it's the kids. It's going to be relatable to the kids. He just was that naive person. He may be the same size as Cliff, but Cliff was completely the 180 on the other spectrum. He's about to jump off. Cliffjumper is literally jumping off any cliff. He's taking his name to heart, jumping off the top of a roof of a house to jump to a tree. They're like, listen, we don't need that to promote an art. And kids start jumping off of trees and realize, well, the red one who did that in Transformers. Now, let's go with a nice mellow, nice relaxed yellow.
Yeah, mellow yellow as opposed to red Cliffjumper, because Cliffjumper, even when they did, when they did the 3D animated one, the voice of Cliffjumper in a 3D animated cartoon, even though he's only there for an episode or two, it was played by Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, he was only
The Rock.
Was he only 2? I thought it was just he died and he came back.
Yeah,
he got killed off. He got killed off in the first episode. That was
in the first episode, right? And he
not even the first 10 minutes. Not even the first 10 minutes.
That's it. But it was The Rock that was voicing him.
Yeah,
you know, this is why if you look at that Cliffjumper, you see him as a little bit more sleek, and he has like bull horns on his hood.
Yeah,
for Rock, the Brahma Bull, right? So they gave it to him. Good on you, Dwayne Johnson. But you know, he was a Transformer. You can actually say that. But going back to the G1 series, all right. So now it's like the whole rocket fuel scenario,
right? So that part is hilarious because now basically we'll just skip to the part that the Decepticons, they were able to. The Autobots try to set up a ruse and basically try to trick the Decepticons with the hologram that Hound made.
Yes.
But the Decepticons, Megatron said, I knew your plan from the beginning. I was on to you from the beginning. I'm like, yo, I don't know how he figured it. I can't remember how they figured that part out.
Because he figured out that Ravage got away too easy. And as soon as he got that too easy and he got the information, he was like, oh. And he didn't give away his hand at the very beginning. He only gave away at that moment. Yeah. He's like, let them play it out. I will show up. That's to show you how bad Megatron is. Come on. Because Megatron gets there in that scene, and then the Autobots trail, and it's like, you know, so the Decepticons come into the rocket base to get the rocket fuel. They all land, and then all of a sudden you see the Autobots coming out, and some of them, the smaller ones, are in like lab coats.
That made me weak. Like you're messing me up again, people. You're messing me up again. How small are Bumblebee and it would have been Bumblebee, Brawn, Hauler, I think.
Yes.
And maybe Cliff.
Yep.
If anything, those are the 4 smallest ones that I can remember off the top of my head, and it should have been that. But I was weak with laughter, like saying, "You guys consider the lab cats?"
And they felt good for half a minute because they're punching like, you know, Sky Warp and Thundercracker, and they fall apart in one punch, and it's like, and then Optimus comes out, and then it's like, then Optimus realizes like, wait a minute, this is all junk, and then all of a sudden you see in the distance Megatron laughing. And it's like, yeah, I knew this was a trap because the way you guys let, Ravage give us the information and he escaped too easily. I knew it was all a setup. We found the real rocket base because, keep in mind, they have the information from Teletran 1 where the real rocket base is. It's like, we set up the real rocket base. All the Decepticons are over there raiding over there. I'm just here to say I was onto your plan. Like, Megatron shows up alone to face all the Autobots in a trap. And he knows they're going to shoot at him. And he's not worried. He's not worried. He's like, hey, Prime, all the Autobots are there. Hey, Prime, all of them. And Megatron shows up with no fear that any of them could beat him. And then he flies away. And then the rest of them are like, except for, hold on. It wasn't, I keep saying Prowl. It wasn't Prowl. It was Blue Streak.
Who did what?
So at one point, I think it's, I'm getting my episodes mixed up. I know one episode, Blue Streak takes off flying to say, I've had enough of this. Oh, no, it was Ironhide. Ironhide takes off flying.
Ironhide, yes.
And a gun comes out of his back.
Right.
And then it's like, Ironhide, get back here. And then you have Blue Streak turn around and is like, don't worry, Prime, I got him. Because he has his doors open and he takes off and starts flying. Right. And they start trying to deal with Skywarp. So I'm not sure what part of the episode that was, but they shoot Skywarp. And I remember it's Skywarp because Skywarp takes a hit off his back fin. And he goes, Megatron, permission to teleport? Permission granted. And Skywarp teleports behind the two of them. And at one point, you see them kind of dropping down, slowly as they're flying. And Skywarp is just lighting them up. But when I look at some scenes, you see one point, Ironhide has the gun on his back. Mm-hmm. And then the next scene when he's talking, there's no gun on his back.
Right, yeah. I remember that.
And then another scene, the gun's back on his back. I'm like, okay, editing. But it was funny that they normally don't fly, but Skywarp was lighting them up.
Yep.
And one of the few times you see Skywarp actually teleport. It takes a lot of his power, but that's what I think is like. There's a lot of powers that each Transformer has that they really didn't show enough when the show went on as a regular basis. That would have probably changed the storylines a little bit. So, yeah. Anyways, they get back. They got the rocket. They're at their rocket ship. So they did their last heist. Everything was successful. They got Nemesis all full, with Energon, and it's just okay, Autobots, we can't take any more chances. Just go out and attack, and they just do an all-out attack fight, and the fight's breaking out, and then Megatron's like, "Well, we're ready to launch. Just leave them."
Well,
why? I like Megatron's logic. Okay, why am I going to fight when our rocket ship is loaded and ready to go? Decepticons, just hold them off till the launch sequence is ready. Okay, ready. Fly up here and let's just go. And that's, you see the ship taking off. and Autobots are like, oh man, we've lost our chance. And that's where Prime loses his temper. Like one of the times. And he's like, I can't remember if it was like Sunstreaker. I was like, yeah, Sunstreaker. What? Give me your rocket pack. Give it Prime. Give it to me. Okay.
Yeah.
He flies
side swipe. So you took a side swipe.
Yeah. He took side swipes. He gets up there. He gets shot down. He's all upset. And then famous words like, hey, anyone seen Mirage?
So as a note, we'll say with this, because I believe it was earlier in this same episode when they were back at the Ark, Mirage was, as when Hound was coming with the idea to do the Mirage thing.
Yes.
To do the Mirage thing.
The holograms, yes.
The holograms. Mirage was, just prior to that, Mirage was showing off to Spike, showing the ability that he can Mirage and just disappear and just become invisible and appear someplace else. Yes. And then you look over there, sleight of hand, I'm back over here. So this is exactly what happens. So Mirage now, Prime's like saying, anybody see Mirage? And at that moment, all you see Mirage now come to futility. He comes to full light on the ship, on Nemesis 2. Yep. And at that point, if I remember correctly, their version of Nemesis basically recognized Autobots in here. At least they upgraded their drivers. Their system is working perfectly. Wait, you are on this morning roster. Who are you? Get out! That's really what it is. The machine will be like, who's up there? 31? 32? Wait, who's here? You! Get out! Everybody started focused on him. And at that point, if I remember just checking over the notes and stuff like that, that was, sorry, lie. Apologize. I put in the wrong sequence.
Okay.
So Starscream is now trying to play the fool again.
Yes.
And trying to He's trying to play the fool again, buddy. You got your shoulder. You just embarrass yourself. You just embarrass yourself across the crew. You're scrambling. Megatron, don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! What are you doing? What are you doing? So now you feel you can take an opportunity. You're on your way back to Cybertron. So I guess in his head, we can land in Cybertron and I'll be the leader. Let's kill Megatron. Let me kill Megatron right now. Foolish mortal. He tried to shoot Megatron again. Megatron like, really? You didn't learn? Jeez,
You know, mistake number 2.
Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And
So-
it's like, go ahead, Starscream. If you take me out, remember, someone is ready to take you out because Megatron didn't have his gun on him at that point, right?
Right, exactly. He
He's
took
like,
it off.
just as quick as you're going to take me out, someone here is going to take you out. He's like, no one's going to take me out. I'm stronger than everybody. I'm thinking, okay, you big, once again, big for your britches. And that's when that fight breaks out, and Mirage kind of sabotages.
Right, comes up here at that time. In all the confusion, the fighting, Teletran, the smartest thing, at least the machine is still smart enough. All the fighting, what? Wait, 32, there's someone else here. Who's here?
Yeah.
Right now.
And that's when, Starscream turns around, shoots at Mirage. Mirage shoots back at him. Megatron gets his cannon back on his arm and then gives a blast to Starscream. And the whole fight breaks out on the bridge, which wrecks the navigational controls. And Nemesis starts coming down, and all of a sudden just later on you see Mirage coming down with like a metal parachute.
Yeah, that's hilarious. For one, he's like at the door about to say, I guess I'm out. Bloop, open the door. Escape shot. Phew, fly out. Whee! Being like Superman, Man of Steel, basically just leaving the getting that extra dose of sun ray when he just on top of the earth, just floating back. Freedom. And then a metal parachute.
I'm out, snitches.
Pretty much.
Yo, I tell you, and listen, there's an episode before at the dam where you see Mirage actually fight, and it's like, oh, Mirage can fight. I can see that's once again. So if Starscream didn't wake up the Autobots, different story.
Mm-hmm.
If Cliffjumper just listened to orders, different story. Starscream would not have tried to backstab Megatron multiple times. Different story.
It's the MCU. It's the time variant. At that
time
point,
variant.
There's a variant.
Wow. Let's we're gonna bring. I will bring this up, man. You got any more notes, man, on this?
No, I'm good. This is not the part. Mirage comes back real good after the points.
Look,
Spike is now he wants to go to the Autobots. I'm like, yo, stop it.
Yeah. At
Stop
this point,
But
you
other than
find
that,
out
that's it.
exactly. At this point, you find out that the UN is now working together to give the Autobots energy for defending the Earth. They still have to figure it out, and then there's more stories that come out. But these 3 episodes, as we love them, don't get it wrong. We literally love these episodes. We watched them.
Oh yeah.
They were milestones for us, and opening us up for the Transformers. And the level of art and quality with it, and the voices were great. It's just that there's little things that certain people can do. So Starscream got his fate because, well, he's Starscream. he talked too much. You know what I mean? Move in silence, make power moves in silence, so nobody knows what you're doing until it's done. Starscream was too busy running his mouth all the time, saying what he gonna do.
Biggie. Yeah, listen. But the beauty thing about it is that particular narrative or that characteristic, of Starscream has stayed throughout majority, of all the renditions, of all the implications. I mean, and just imaging and everything that they've done.
Yes.
With Starscream, he's always been that loudmouth guy who basically his eyes are too big for himself, and he's just eating more food than he should be. And like, I want to plate of food. And you and you're like, I'm full. You made me go buy all this plate of food. You ain't idiot. 5 across the eyes.
5 across the eyes. This is the episode 5 across the eyes for Transformers Generation 1.
Exactly. It should be that title, 5 across the eyes.
So hold on. So before I leave you on this, and with everyone here, who was your favorite Transformer? Be it Transformer, if it's Autobot or Decepticon. Who was your favorite? Do you have a couple of favorites that always stood out with you in the original generation?
I mean, yeah, you got to say
even if the ones we didn't cover. I mean,
yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to. I like people different reasons. I like Jetstream. Now Jetstream, we didn't get to Jetstream. He's a couple of seasons later. But Jetstream, I love him because he was just a very humbled type of soldier. But if
Yeah.
he ever needed to, he would, he can take up arms and do what he has to do. Slash as well, he just basically has the mecha from Robotech, but we won't go
Yes.
into that. We won't go into that. That's another story we got to do. Uh, Megatron.
Mhm.
Honestly, I mean, you don't want to make it sound like it's just the obvious, but Megatron, because of how tolerant he is to tolerant to the amount of foolishness that Starscream brought up to him, and the amount of times you're like saying, "Listen, you are still the most powerful leader of the Decepticons." Who in the auto? Optimus as well, but I mean, everybody has their niches and natch. Like,
Yes.
I'm just kind of
Yeah.
thinking off of this one. Yeah, I was. Sometimes Optimus was a little bit too naive for me, and it just got a little bit annoying,
Right.
slight annoying. But yeah, I love the vigor of that and Soundwave
Yes.
Soundwave was always my guy. I can't even lie. I gotta really. It had to be think me back. Even when I was a child, I had Soundwave. Yeah, Soundwave was my guy.
I hear
Soundwave
you.
was my guy.
I hear
Soundwave.
you. And I'll agree with you there. So if I had to look at the Generation 1 out of the first couple of episodes, the first 3 episodes, more than meets the eye episodes that we just talked about,
Yeah,
I'll say first and foremost, just like you, my number one guy, Soundwave. I like Soundwave with his as a character. I always wanted to see more of him. I like Soundwave as a toy because of all the other cassettes that you would get, right? So that's
correct.
like, Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, so Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, Frenzy,
Rumble,
and Ravage.
Right.
And even though Ravage does make it into the 3D animated one with Beast Wars at one point as a legacy character, and they gave him a different look, and he still had the head, but he spoke, but that's a different story. But Soundwave I always thought Soundwave should have taken command over Starscream, for sure, 100%. So
Yeah.
Soundwave was always like my number one. I liked Mirage. I like Mirage's character and how they portrayed him. So that would be my number 2. And then of course one that wasn't covered, but if we're looking at the big boys, so to speak, Omega Supreme.
When you say
Omega
big
Supreme.
boys, I want to think right.
Omega Supreme, one of the Guardian robots, and I like that they're still incorporating Omega Supreme. So his original look with the rocket ship and the tank and the treads, I always thought that was cool. I believe his first appearance was in Marvel issue number 19 of Transformers. I actually have it. So
You know what?
and then how they incorporate him now by actually making, and when I say now, the last Transformers the animated series where you find out Omega Supreme was the Arc. So they made the Arc actually transform into Omega Supreme, and they're kind of sticking with that now a little bit more. Which is kind of cool because it makes more sense to kind of transfer. So those are my 3 there. And I said, of course, then it comes like, Megatron. Megatron was always,
yes,
he gave me some good one-liners. I'll
give one more person is in your backdrop. And I don't know. I just saw him and I was like, of course. And I had his toy as well.
Grimlock. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Just the simple child mind that he was, but just how that he was like, he took everything as face value and he was so innocent, but then get him mad.
Yep.
The man will just hulk out on you. I'm like, oh yeah, Grimlock, go baby, go.
Yeah, so Grimlock, and they used them well, and the Dinobots. I thought they were really good. And other ones. I mean, everyone there's so many in there that everyone has their favorites. I know my brother at one point had the playset or the figure playset / the city, the Autobot city, Metroplex.
Oh yeah,
Brian had Metroplex, and I'm like, when he got that for Christmas, I'm like, holy crap! So they had Metroplex and Trypticon. I don't think those two were used as much as they could have been used. Right. This is why I like one of the other Machine Mania miniseries that they did, right, where they brought in War of the Combiners. Okay. And they brought in Metroplex, they brought in Trypticon, and they used them a little bit more. But I'm still sticking that my number 1 will always be Soundwave. Is he dated as a Walkman in this day and age? Yeah, sure. But find another cool look for him, but don't take away the essence of all the cassettes with him. Right. And I thought he should have had more one-on-one battles with Blaster, the Autobots radio, and you only see that in the Transformers movie. But you figured the two of them should have gone a little bit more head to head. But anyways,
yeah,
I digress. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. On behalf, once again, of the Iconis podcast, you can find us, all the links for now under barry3d.com. And you can find us on iconis.podbeam.com for the audio. And once again, as I said, like, subscribe, share, download the episodes. Let us know what you think. One of your hosts, I'm Barry3D, and I'm here with
DJ Rod C.
What? And as I always say, this whole world was discovered by a pencil, a piece of paper, and imagination. Keep on dreaming. Thank you.
Got it. Roll out. I'm loving it.